One of them wanted to be the security guy. He claimed he was a security guy.
Welcome back to another, Miss Eve, what should I call this episode?
Well, we're going to talk about general stuff today that could...
The General Stuff Show.
The General Stuff Show.
Okay.
So that's the name of it.
That's a good episode. We were going to have our guest, VerVCO.com.
Mm-hmm.
No, not .com. .co, by the way. And talk about gunshot detection. But he had to cancel last minute. So let me play this video for everybody and watch this product. We'll have Greg Wooster back on in a minute, but watch this new product from VerVCO. What do you think? Pretty effective, huh?
Yeah.
So this product takes sound detection, places it in your institution, school, business, whatever, and then triangulates that through GPS and different coordinates and makes a mobile app for your phone. So when a gunshot goes off and your mobile phone is alerted and it says gunshot, cafeteria, it's a 45 automatic, not automatic, but it's a 45, it's a caliber, right? 32, right. 22, that kind of thing. It tells you how big the gun is. And then it tells you, hey, go this way, away from the gunshot. And I think that's outstanding. It's an excellent product. There's a lot of these things on the market coming up now.
Right.
But if you think about it, this is one of the best things, instead of your own personal protection and your own ability to respond, that at least gives you some knowledge to do something about it. Because once that gunshot goes off, there's always the delay between the police being notified, somebody calling the teacher and telling them about it. So Craig can't make it today. He had a court session, but I just wanted to show everybody that video. And just beware, this is something we're going to come back and talk to because it's really good. And so while we were getting ready for the show and Craig canceled, you and I started talking about, what should we talk about?
Right.
And we thought we'll bring Mr. Jarvis in to help us out with some conspiracy theory stuff and some interesting things that are going on. We'll just have the general discussion show.
A general discussion.
And one thing you had something to talk about, you want to talk about was, what you should do as a personal safety issue. So what are your concerns as a well, by the way, Mr. Jarvis, we didn't really introduce Miss Eve. We all know who Miss Eve is, but nobody else does. So introduce yourself for us.
Well, I'm Eve, and I live here in LA, so I'm an independent film producer. So I do a lot of different things. I'm all about entertainment. But the reason why I wanted to ask you about safety is because sometimes I'm coming back from a show late at night, or I could just be out, and I do live in a big city. I am a girl, so it's a little intimidating at times. And watching your show, I've noticed that there's a lot of things that I'm not aware of that I should be aware of. So I want to hear from you what you think that I should do to prevent myself from basically getting into any kind of unwanted trouble.
Oh, so the good news first is it's your girl.
Okay.
I will say that's good news. And here's why. I think women tend to not rely on their ability to physically confront something to solve a challenge.
Okay.
So they have to think it through first, probably. Well, Mr. Jarvis, I take that back. There are a few women I think that could pretty easily kick my ass and your ass. It's not an absolute rule. However, it's probably a general rule, okay?
Right.
And you're pretty short and you're petite. So you're not going to rely on brute force to do something. Although, again, the exception because you know jiu-jitsu.
I do jiu-jitsu, and I've done some
but still
weightlifting and all of that.
So are you gonna automatically go to, you know what, I got my jiu-jitsu down and this guy's 6'5" and 350, I'm gonna take him on, right? You're not, right? You're still not gonna. It's gonna be a last resort kind of thing, okay? So here's how you have to look about your personal safety. The problem we have right now is that there are security models based upon making money, right? So we have great security models in the United States for making money. We have guards that are billed hours. We have personal protection people. We have devices. VerVCO is a great device, by the way, right? Gunshot goes off. It lets you know what's happening. All those products and processes and personal protection issues still come down to you ultimately making the personal decision about your own safety. So Verbi is going to give you a gunshot detection on your phone. You're still going to decide whether you're going to run towards the gunshot or away from the gunshot.
Okay.
I'm going to run towards it. That's what I do, right? I'm going to protect people. That's what I do. You're going to choose I'm not going to do that. The myth in security is that other people can protect you. Can't be done. So the first thing you got to know about security is it's personal. All security comes down to personal.
Okay.
Now, would you agree or disagree with that?
Well, that sounds a bit more intimidating because it's not like we're used to, making ourselves feel safe.
Right.
In a country like the one that we're at, we are used to having so many people around us to protect us.
Who do you think protects you? Seriously.
Well, we're told that cops protect us.
Okay.
But security guards, stuff like that.
Mr. Jarvis, do police protect us?
Yes.
Oh, why do you think so?
Why do I think so?
Yeah, seriously.
Well, I mean, that's what we call when we need protection, right?
Well, actually, what you're doing when you call a police officer usually is calling to get a response because something has already happened that you weren't protected from. Think about it.
Yeah, but there's times when, say, for instance, you may hear a noise and you may call and something hadn't necessarily happened.
But the noise already happened.
Well, okay, the noise
See what I'm
already
saying?
happened. Right, but we're calling them for protection.
Right. But had that noise been something evil, it'd be too late. You would have to deal with the cleanup. So really, police officers are responding to your call for assistance, your call for help. They're not protecting you. They are preventing things in as much as high police visibility deters people from acting out in the moment at that place. Right?
Okay.
But as we saw this morning, Mr. Jarvis, sadly to report, a police officer was sitting in his car in New Jersey. Remember? Oh, were you here when Oh, you didn't hear the story. I just got it on Twitter. Police officer sitting in his car in New Jersey, writing a report or something, and he was assassinated.
Wow.
So that didn't protect him.
Right.
He didn't protect himself. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And if people are going to assassinate police officers, the idea that the police are here to protect us just doesn't work because people will be so afraid of police officers they would not respond that way.
So, Chuck, why does it say to protect and serve?
That's a good question. All right, it sounds good, and I'm not taking away anything that police do, but in the end, the police did not protect that poor police officer this morning. Only he could have protected himself. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And this is not quarterback stuff. I'm just saying somehow that guy got the drop on him and shot him. From what I read, it wasn't a gunshot and a confrontation, a typical shootout thing. This guy got snuck up on and shot for no particular reason, right? So really what police are doing are responding to you. Now, police create an atmosphere of the community where we feel we can talk to the police, they can come to us, they can respond, we can take reports, we can follow up, we can catch bad guys after the fact, right? We catch bad guys in the act sometimes. But how do we measure if we actually stopped a guy from assaulting you? Because I'm a police officer and he's afraid that the police are going to catch him if he assaults you. There's no measure of that, really. The laws are here that say if you commit a burglary or a rape, you're going to go to jail, and maybe some guy that's on the border of morality, morality is not a good word because not all laws are moral, by the way. Not all morals are laws. But let's say it deters him because I'm not going to rape you because I don't want to spend 5 years in Sing Sing, okay? That has a deterrent effect. That has a protective effect against you. But it's not measurable in a way. So if, let's say we got 10% of the population misbehaves right now. Most 10% of the population are criminals. They keep doing it. What if that number was 20%? Would that be a problem?
Well,
what if it was 50%?
that would be a lot.
Okay, what if 50% of the people in the world said, you know what, I don't give a crap about all that stuff. I'm going to behave the way I want to behave. I'm going to break the law. We don't have enough policemen to handle 50%.
No.
You see what I'm saying? So therefore, the only way that we're all safe sitting here together is because all three of us behave. And that comes down to personal responsibility for your own personal protection and your safety. You acting safe makes you safe. If I went into a bar on St. Patrick's Day and said "Poch Mahone," which means kiss my ass in Gaelic, I wouldn't be safe because Irish people would stand up and say, "Oh, wait a minute, pal," right? So me acting irresponsibly makes myself unsafe that way. On the other side of it, if I act safely, usually people around me are safe.
Okay.
Right. So the problem with our security models is that they're financial and they're driven by, let's sell you this product to make you feel safe. Let's sell you this device or app to make you feel safe. Are you safe? I'm going to say, yeah, you're safer, right?
Okay.
But safe's not an absolute. Because in the end, you have to use the app. In the end, you, Jarvis, have to, engage the police community, right? So let's say you don't engage the police and they don't know who you are and you don't wave to them going by and people, now you see the anti-police movement now, right?
Right.
That doesn't help anybody be safe, right?
Right.
And it makes all three of us unsafe because that group is down on the police. And now the police are going, you know what? I don't think I want to get shot in the head writing a report. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to stay in the police station. I'm not going anywhere. So you see the effect?
Yeah.
All right. Now, have I persuaded you that all security is personal now?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm persuaded.
Thanks for coming in. That was a great show. Appreciate that. Well, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? All right.
Yes.
So there's a difference, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So what I'm saying to you is if you can accept that all security is personal, and if every one of us acted in a way that you are a personal security expert, you'd be safer. Mm-hmm. So we did the 10% model, Jarvis, right? 10% are bad. What if 50% were bad? We all agree, well, it's
a little too much.
Right.
That's World War Z. Right? Great movie, right?
Yeah, it was.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, it was.
And by the way, that's really not unlike what a model like that would be. You could say zombies are fake, but you can also say that if that many people in the world acted like idiots, not zombies, it'd be the same effect, basically, right? All right. So on the same side of it, if you take that argument, you say, okay, if 20%, 50% people acting like fools makes us unsafe, what if 100% of the people in the world acted like us in this room right now? Would we need police?
No, not really.
Well, Jarvis is pondering that a little too long. I wonder what's he cranking on in his brain there. There was that one time maybe.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just say everybody in this room was a security expert, and I'm not passing any moral judgments. And we're not talking about whether we think marijuana should be legal or not legal and morality and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying in general, we treat each other with respect and we don't get anybody else's business and we don't steal, lie, cheat. Let's say nobody broke the 10 Commandments in the world.
Okay.
Okay, nobody.
Okay.
Broke one of them.
Yes.
What do we need police for? They don't.
We wouldn't.
We don't.
And by the way, police are a modern creation. The modern police force was founded by Robert Peel in England in, what was it, 17? If Paul was here, he would know exactly, right? But the modern police force, as we knew it, was founded in recent history. And we didn't have that before. We had King's Guards and armies and things like that, but in general, modern policing's new. So it comes to pass because we need that because people don't behave that way. So that's my argument for why security is personal, because if it's 50% bad or 100% good, it all comes down to that us acting properly makes us safe.
Okay.
See? All right. Now, point number 2. How else do I make you safe? By the way, you need to talk. This is a talk show.
Yes, I'm listening.
I talk to him. You need to say, hey, shut the F up and
But I'm
start talking.
learning here.
Okay, all right.
I'm learning so
I appreciate
much.
that. All right.
I'm taking notes.
Okay, all security is local.
Okay.
So what do you think I mean by that?
It's around you, whatever
Yeah.
surrounds you. Is that what you're talking
Right,
about?
right.
So my environment, that defines my security in a sense. Are you saying that?
Your immediate environment, right.
Yes.
So we have an army that protects the United States and the borders, and it goes beyond what we can do locally. And that's good, right? But I would argue that even though a soldier inside an army seems to be a broader view, a national view, or a wider view, not local, I'm still going to tell you it's local because going back to all security is personal, the soldier in the army that's out fighting for you and me to keep our borders safe, whatever else, terrorism, whatever they're doing, is still making an individual choice for what? His own personal safety.
Right.
So as Patton said, no soldier ever was a hero dying for his country. He made the other guy die for his country, right? So soldiers make personal choices basically to try and stay alive.
In order to be able to.
By killing the other guy.
Right.
Right. So that's still personal. Right?
Yes.
And it's local because right there where the war is, that's what he's taking care of, right? But back here, there's a long-term effect for him protecting us from the Nazis in World War II, and the Nazis never got to the United States, but they could have if they didn't do their job. Soldiers didn't do their job locally on the beaches of Normandy, right? So it has to be local because the police officer in the Hollywood division is having briefing right now, and he's not right here.
Okay.
So if I start acting a fool, it's going to be 15, 20 minutes before he gets here, and you're not safe. So you need to work inside your environment and act personally to be safe.
Okay.
All right, so that's number 2. Do you agree with that one?
I agree.
Okay. So all security is personal, all security is local. The third tier is all security is now.
Okay.
It's happening right this second. we pulled up in front of the station today, and I don't know if you noticed that Winnebago home down the street, that mobile home thing.
Okay.
You ever seen that, Jarvis?
The RV.
The RV, it always parks there, right?
Okay, down.
Yeah, a couple blocks, right? So I see that on occasion here. In other words, that guy's probably living in that car and he parks at different places, and that's okay. That's great.
That's legal, right?
It's legal. But I might look at that differently because what I do, and I might say, you know what? That guy is always here on a Tuesday, 11:30, and he always opens the door, and he was waving at little kids walking by. Now, I could have let that slide, and he wasn't doing this, but if he was, I could let it slide and say, well, he's always here. The guy must live in his thing. I can make assumptions. He's always here. Nothing's ever happened. And just because he opened the door and waved to kids doesn't mean anything. And I can let that slide. And 2 weeks from now, we find him getting arrested for molesting children in his Winnebago, right? So it's now, because if I see something, I need to act on it. If I feel unsafe now with you, I need to say, that doesn't make me feel safe.
Okay.
If you and I have a disagreement about something, I have to say, listen, I disagree with you. I have to say it now. Because if I sit around and fester about it and get all pissed off, that's the guy that goes away and comes back and shoots up the workplace, right? So I got to engage people in my security issue in the moment and deal with it now, so in real time, it's effective.
Okay.
And if I wait to report a crime or wait to report suspicious activity, that turns into a whole nother risk.
Okay.
A different risk, and sometimes a greater risk.
So, Chuck, what do you think is the thing that the general population really misses? Is it, what point? Which one do we miss? Is it the now? Is it ourselves? Are we all just crazy people and we're putting ourselves in danger?
I think they understand the now, because if you're placed in jeopardy because it's a crazy guy on the street, it's a shooting, it's a car accident, whatever it is, you kind of get that point, and you're going to go into some kind of mode to do something about it, right? And I think they get local, because if it's across the street from you, that's local. If it's on the news and it's in Whittier, that's not exactly local. So you're kind of like, oh, Whittier, I don't live in Whittier, I don't care. I think people get the personal. They miss that.
Okay.
They think that the guard sitting at the lobby here at the studio is actually going to protect somebody from somebody coming here with a gun. Now, does anybody in this room think that the guard, and they're nice people, by the way, I've known them for years, right? Are they really going to stop a guy that walks in that lobby with a gun and says, I'm here to shoot up UB and radio?
No.
No. Okay, so since you don't believe that, why do we defer to them for our safety? See what I'm saying? Why? There's a reason, by the way.
Well,
because we want to be nice to people.
Well, we want to be nice to people, and also I don't think that all of us are aware of what the problem is, and also a lot of us don't want to deal with the problem.
They don't want to deal with it.
So then we
right?
just like put something there that makes us feel better.
That's right. It does make you feel better.
It sucks because we do this in many areas of our lives,
Right.
but it's kind of scary that we do it in this one, because this one actually determines whether we live or die.
It's true. And people will do more to avoid pain than they will to seek pleasure.
Yes.
So think about that, right? Yeah. So I don't want to get in an argument with the wife. I don't want to get in an argument with the boyfriend. I don't want to argue with the teacher. I don't want to argue with Chuck on the show because he's a mean bastard and he's going to fire me. That's what people think. They don't think I'm going to go out and seek something that's fun and pleasure. Mm-hmm. They're going to avoid something more. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to speak up. They're not going to say anything. And by the way, to say that security sucks, if you work for a security company, means you don't have a job. All right.
Okay.
And by the way, nobody works in a guard company that actually thinks that guard's going to do anything about a shooting. But the sales guy that sells that account says, oh, you need security because this place will be overrun. Mm-hmm. No, it wouldn't be overrun. Because most people don't care about walking in the front door of Sunset Gower Studios. They're busy doing other things, right? And the stalker that wants to get in here, guess what? He's already here. And he can get in here anytime he wants.
The stalker.
No, he can. I'm serious.
How's he going to get in, though?
Oh, are you kidding me?
But haven't you? I've looked in the guard shack and they have pictures up of
that's right.
People that
I used to be in there.
Your picture
My
was
picture was in there.
No, it was.
No, it was. No, because I used to have the guard business here. My office was here for the guard business. Oh. And when they let me go, when they let an employee go, they say this guy's card's no good and he can't come to the studio anymore. You know, that happens for anybody.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So guess what?
We're gonna believe him on that one.
Well, but I still came in the studio because my friend works here and she called me up and says, "Come in for lunch."
Okay.
I still got in because she allowed me to come in. Mm-hmm. So she didn't violate somebody else's rules. She just allowed me to come in when somebody else didn't want me to come in. And the old company didn't want me coming in to their business. And that's perfectly logical. And by the way, if I don't have business at the studio, I shouldn't be at the studio. But let's say I was not a great employee and I got my friend to let me in. I've just circumvented the whole process, right? So again, it's going to have to come down to an individual choice. And my friend that let me in should have honored the pass, maybe, from the other company and said, no, we can't let you in, Chuck, because the other company doesn't want you to come in.
Right.
But she didn't, and that's okay, because I'm not malicious. But if I was a bad guy, would be, see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
right.
are you guys feel more safe or less safe now?
I feel less safe.
No, that's...
I feel less safe because now I'm more aware. You know, the
Well,
more you know,
no.
the more you realize you don't know anything.
Yeah, but that was the point of the show, is to make you feel more safe. Chuck, tell us what you can do to make us more safe. And I feel less safe.
Well,
I
Chuck, you just
failed.
told me that it's completely up to me. And one of the big issues that we've actually been discussing today is that it's up to me, and that's the problem. And that's very scary because, I need training.
Okay,
I need
help me
somebody-
understand this part then. Because
I-
I don't understand why people don't think it's their responsibility.
Okay.
That's part I don't get.
No, I understand. I understand that it's my responsibility. My mommy taught me well, but at the same time, it's like, we don't really realize the dangers or the things. Like what you see on the news is only like, such a small portion of all
Very
the bad
small,
stuff,
right.
and then it's like it's never in my town. It's always like somewhere far away. And if it's in LA, it's like, there's so many people in LA. It's not going to happen to me. So for me to think that somebody's actually going to like try to steal my wallet, which is not even that big of a deal. It's just a wallet, right? I don't think it's possible, And I think that's how we all think about it. We think
You don't
that
think it's possible that you're going to be a victim?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't because I do stay. I'm usually nice to people, so that's good. And I try not to go out, in like random times. So I do try to be safe. So, but the thing is that you never see it coming, right? So that's why
no,
it's
I
so
disagree.
scary.
I think you do see it coming.
Okay, well,
I mean, I see things coming because I'm trained to see it, right?
right.
But you use your intuition more than I use my intuition and training.
And
right?
yeah,
So I will tell you that in my entire life, I've been the victim of a crime one time.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody stole the windshield wipers off my 1985 Saab Turbo.
what a
I was
tragedy.
so pissed off about that. I was indignant about it. What? How dare they steal my windshield wipers, right? I guess those are an important car part or something, right? So why haven't I been a victim before or after? I don't know. Is it because I look around me and say, don't F with me because I'm not going to let you do it? I don't know. There are some components there, right?
Right.
So if you walk down the street and you pay attention, you look at people and you look like you know what's going on, people tend to say, you know what? I'm going to talk to Jarvis because he's looking down at the ground and he's not paying attention, right? So what you're saying is not really far off
Okay.
from understanding that you do try to participate in your own
Yes.
safety. People just need to take it to the next level.
Okay.
And then when they're faced with a decision to make about their safety, are they going to, in a shooting, are they going to wait for the cops to get here? Or am I going to get my ass out the door and run?
Right.
Or am I going to pick up a stapler and throw it at you, then run? Right? Most people who get killed in shootings are killed because they respond to their initial training, which is duck and cover, get under the desk, hide, which I was trained to do back in the 60s. And I wouldn't do that now because I'm trained differently. But you're going to revert to your training. You may actually revert to ninja stuff. You might go right into your mode. I don't know. You're trained to do that. You practice it.
I do.
In an emergency where you're actually forced and attacked, I think you would do that.
I could do that, or I could just run. That sounds like a good
You might
idea
run too. You might. Well, I'm talking about where you don't have a choice to run.
Right. Okay.
Or
then
or
I would,
hide. I think you'd be able to get yourself out of that situation.
Maybe.
Because you're trained.
Yeah, I do. I'm not that I have some training. I just started, but you do definitely get more used to somebody like fighting you. So
Yeah.
maybe that's a thing. So how can everybody else get prepared for these situations? You have some training. I'm getting some training in jiu-jitsu. So how can other people do this? What is a good place for them to go? Like, is there a website that I can go on to? Can I go onto your website and read on stuff there? Like, how can I prepare myself for a dangerous situation?
Well, all training, the ultimate preparation is mental acuity, right? Mental preparedness.
Okay.
And that's what we call an attitude. Attitude is mental, awareness of the situation. So I'm not advocating that you learn karate. I'm not advocating that you get a gun. I'm not advocating that you learn how to, be Sergeant York or anything. I'm just saying you need to first be aware that your safety is your responsibility. And then when something presents itself, you need to be able to respond to it. Now, I'd advise most people to avoid a confrontation, avoid danger, go around it, stay away from it, and most importantly, don't put yourself in that situation.
yes.
So that comes down to awareness. So if I can see something on the horizon and understand that that's a potential conflict, I want to go around it. I want to avoid it, right?
Okay.
So I don't know. What's an example? You're walking down the street at night and somebody's coming at you on the sidewalk. I cross the street. Now, if that person crosses the street, what's that tell you? When you cross the street, what's that tell you?
Aren't they scared of you? If they
No.
the way they're crossing the street.
You guys are
Wait.
walking towards each other.
Okay.
We're walking in front of Starbucks over here.
Okay.
One's going north, one's going south. You're going south, this guy's going north. And you decide, you know what? I don't like that guy. He looks suspicious to me. I'm going to cross the street, and you cross over here to the studio side. And at the same time you cross the street, this guy decides, what a coincidence, I'm going to cross the street at the same time.
Okay. I'd be a little concerned.
The hair on the back of your neck's going to stand up, right?
Yeah.
So had you not acted and you not crossed the street because you were afraid to offend somebody,
Okay.
because that's what people think. Oh, I don't want this guy to think that I'm crossing the street because of him, and he might be offended. You may have gone into a confrontation that you couldn't get out of.
Okay.
When you cross the street and that guy crosses after you, you remove any doubt that there's a problem.
Okay.
Now you got to do something else. But now you know that you're in a potential jeopardy.
Okay.
And now you have to absolutely do something else. And that might be running. That might be yelling. It might be a lot of things. But if you're walking towards each other and you cross the street and the guy crosses the street after you, you got a problem, right?
Yeah.
And even if you don't, you got to act that way. So I think that's the best thing to think about, is the awareness to avoid the confrontation. Avoid saying the first thing that rises to your lips easily. I don't follow that advice. All right? So I have some confrontational issues sometimes. But it is the best thing to do, right? It's the best thing to not tell your boss to go F off and all that kind of thing. It's better to just kind of say, you know what? I'm going to deal with that later and avoid it. So, and I'm not just talking about your physical safety. I'm talking about your social safety.
Okay.
Social safety would be what? Keeping your job.
Okay.
Social safety would be getting along with your sister, who's an absolute nut job, right? Those are things that are social safety issues. And by the way, those things are going to affect you way before a guy sticks a gun in your nose and robs you.
Okay.
Would you agree?
Yes.
Think about your own families, right? We've talked about this. A couple little wacky things going on in all the families. And those social situations can potentially impact your life longer and more severely than some guy that robs you. Because if he robs you, doesn't kill you, well, you move on. That's it. Statistically, you're probably not going to be the victim of a robbery again.
Okay.
But you'll be a victim of your sister, who likes to send nasty grams on Twitter and Facebook, okay? Am I right? You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. So those things are personal safety issues too,
Yes.
or quality of life, right? So if you look at security, you have quality of life on one side, and you have, terrorism on the other side. So those are the extremes of where you can feel safe. And there's a lot of things in between there that can make you unsafe.
Okay.
And I am much more worried about my sister's Facebook postings than about a terrorist at the mall. Okay, I got to tell you, because that's going to impact me right now. Do something about it. But you'd use the same approach.
Okay.
So if your sister's dropping the F-bomb on Facebook about you, you need to respond to that and do something. Because if you don't, it's going to cause a problem.
Well, I would just, delete her.
That's an approach.
Can I delete her?
Sure, that's an approach.
I'll delete my sister.
You
It's
can
fine.
block, you can approach, you can do all
really
those
mean.
things, right? But to do nothing about it
Yeah.
creates a bigger problem.
Okay.
Right? So define.
Wait. Let me ask
Go
a
ahead,
question.
go ahead.
So going back to the scenario when you were saying if she was walking and so forth,
Right.
But you said before that, well, I don't advocate, getting a gun but for myself, I think about my sisters in that scenario. I advocate, have some pepper spray or something like that. Isn't that a good option?
Sure. Now,
Right.
you're proving my point.
So is
because,
that personal responsibility? What is?
Well, that's right. That makes you personally feel safer for your sisters, right? It's personal security again. Even though it's not you walking down the street, you personally feel safer because of your
Yes.
sisters. See?
Okay.
So it goes back to personal. So sure. Now, if your sister doesn't know how to use pepper spray, like my lieutenant at San Gabriel PD one day when we went to a party, Charlie, arrest that guy. Lieutenant, there's a big party here. I think we ought to call some backup. I'm telling you to arrest him. Well, Lieutenant takes out his pepper spray and sprays the guy.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that also sprayed me. It also sprayed my partner. And now we got 3 blind cops trying to fight a party that comes out on the front lawn and starts bottle fights.
Wow.
Not a good situation. He wasn't thinking about his personal safety. He was assuming my partner and I were going to handle this. For him, turned into a big melee.
Well, isn't
One of the most famous party fights in San Gabriel history.
Really?
Oh wow.
Because mace goes everywhere.
Yes.
So if they're not trained to use it, it can actually work against them. It could blind them, and they got a problem. Now, if you want to train like you do, I have no doubt that if you got the drop on me, you could put me down.
Okay.
Right? Because you're trained in that. I'm also trained in being skinny and running away when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to say, no, I'm not taking on 5 foot tall Eve here. I'm getting the hell out of here because she's going to karate chop my ass, right? So it works both ways.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd say I'd agree with you on that. But if your sisters can't bring it, right, then you got to see what I'm saying? Now, do you feel less safe for your sisters now? For what I just personally, because what I told you.
Yeah.
See? It's
He
all
makes it-
personal.
Because I didn't factor that part in.
Yeah.
You know?
See,
Well,
that's,
you really do know how you do need to know how to use mace. One of my friends had got me some mace a while ago, and we sprayed it in his balcony. It was an outdoor balcony, so the fumes would go out, and it actually sprayed to the apartment next door.
no.
And it was really horrible. We had to close the door and everything because it's very strong. So if you're in a very close, tight room, that's impossible for you. You're gonna have to get out of there.
Right.
Yeah. If you
And-
start breathing it as opposed to just getting in your eyes, that causes another problem.
Right, that's another problem. So that's like one of the things that we can actually buy because it's not like you can really get I think you need a permit for a taser, right? You need.
Oh, I don't
how
know.
about a taser, right?
I don't think you need a permit for those. I'm a little rusty on that, but I really don't think you do.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, there's another theory on Mace. Well, by the way, Mace is a brand name. It's pepper spray.
Pepper spray.
Okay.
It's made from cayenne pepper.
Cayenne pepper, yeah.
And I will tell you as a police officer that I have sprayed people right in the face that are on PCP, and guess what? It really pissed them off. Had no effect. I sprayed people that are drunk in the face with Mace brand pepper spray. Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
I heard that Mace's that brand is actually stronger. I heard that it even burns your skin.
Here's how it actually works. It's all based on that cayenne pepper component. There's laws that say you can only have this much pepper and this much hot stuff, or there's certain mixtures and all that kind of thing. So why is one more effective? Well, if I'm drunk, my eyes are all watery, and I'm all messed up in the eyeballs, and so you spray that stuff, and maybe there's an effect where it doesn't quite penetrate, right?
Okay.
If I'm looking away like this when I spray it at you and you don't hit me, that's an effect. If you're not breathing, if you're doing this, so it's all unless I get you.
If you're not breathing.
Well, let's say you're talking to me right now. No, I'm talking. You pull out Mace and mace me. I'm breathing in a normal way. I'm inhaling.
Right.
And I don't know pepper spray's coming. I'm going to breathe that into my nose, and I'm going to breathe that out my lungs, and it's going to get my eyes, and that's going to cause a much bigger effect than if I go no.
Right. If
And
he
I-
can like covers himself.
Yeah, and I try not to breathe. See.
Okay.
So a bad guy, unless he doesn't know it's going to hit him, is going to be defensive, and that's why pepper spray is only somewhat effective, depending
Right.
on all the situations. Right. So to your point, again, not a bad thing to have, but understand its limitations. And if you're not trained to say, "Oh crap, that didn't work. Now what am I going to do?" Then you got a bigger problem.
Yeah.
Because now you got a pissed off guy that already wanted to get you. Now he's mad, right? See?
Yeah.
Right.
And a pissed off guy.
Right.
Make sure you get his
Yeah.
eyes.
So if you can avoid him, that's probably the best thing to do. That's the safest thing to do.
Yes.
See? So this isn't all easy stuff,
Yeah,
right?
it isn't.
So when people say, "Oh, I got an easy solution. I'm going to put a guard on you and he's going to protect you. I'm going to buy you a gun and that's going to protect you. I'm going to buy you Mace and that's going to protect you." Yes, to some degree, but not completely. See? So you got to think through whether you're prepared to actually take the next step to do something about it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
That's interesting.
So I think I just got a good idea of what I should do, and I think what it really means is that I should know what my abilities are.
That's a good point.
I should know what I have. If I have mace, I normally carry a knife too. I have a fisherman's knife. It's really awesome. I'll show you guys later.
get the guard in here when she does it. will you? All right.
It's for safety purposes. I really
Shh, don't say things like that in public.
but
You're going fishing. That's what you want to say.
I go fishing all the time. So I think it's just being aware of what I can do and being aware of my surroundings and also not being afraid of what I should do when I need to do something and also not being afraid of running away when I need to. So just being able to recognize a problem.
Yeah,
and
I
then,
think people don't run away
knowing
for a
what to
couple
do.
reasons. One, they're trained to get under a table. You're automatically going to respond to what you're trained to do. That's one thing. And you won't be able to help it, by the way. Just what happens, right? Two, in a guy situation, I don't tend to be a guy that backs down on something.
Okay.
And I don't care how bad it is. I'm kind of stupid that way, right? So, if you do that, I'm going to shoot you in the head. Well, go ahead, mofo, because you're going down, dude. Not wise, right? It's just my personality.
Right.
The other reason people probably don't think that way is sometimes you get your ego involved in it, right? Mine's not an ego thing when I say, I don't give a crap what you say, it's not going to happen. Mine is just, that's my principle. That's my internal core, my line. I got no ego in it because I know when people can kick my ass. It's just not an issue to me, right? But to your point, he who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. Now, here's a scenario. Let's say everybody in the United States was trained to sprint, and everybody could do the 100-yard dash. What's a good 100-yard dash time? I'm rusty on that.
Not well.
10 seconds is super fast?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
so let's say you could do it in 20 seconds. That's still pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody in the United States can do the 100-yard dash in 20 seconds. And we're sitting at Starbucks having a cup of coffee before the show, and some guy comes in and starts popping off rounds. And everybody gets up and does a 100-yard dash because everybody can run the same speed and rate. Guess what? You know how many shootings we'd have? Not many. Very hard to hit a moving target.
That's very true. Yeah.
Very difficult. It's hard enough to hit a stagnant target. The reason shooters are successful is because when you're hiding under a desk, you're not moving.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't know if you ever heard the show. You better have heard the show. You better listen to all my shows. But anyway, we had a show about
I
shootings.
listened to all his shows.
Virginia Tech, that guy, Virginia Tech shooter, remember?
Okay.
Most shooters don't have backgrounds in guns.
Okay.
They're not gun advocates or gun license holders. They're just a guy that says, I need to kill a lot of people, I'm going to get a gun, which irritates people that want gun control laws. It's not a bad argument, but it doesn't stop them from getting a gun.
Right.
This guy went out and trained to shoot because he didn't know how to shoot. He put targets on the ground at the shooting range and walked by and went bang, bang, bang. And nobody at the gun range said, well, that looks a little funny, Bill. Oh, yeah, it does, Joe. Should I call somebody? No, don't call anybody. That doesn't matter. Nobody shoots targets like that. You put it up on a pulley and you shoot downrange, right? He was training that way because he knew people were going to be hiding under a desk. So that's why they have a high hit rate.
Yeah.
But if all those people hiding under a desk today could do the 100-yard dash, let's say they could do it in 10 seconds, like our athletes, they're not going to hit anybody.
Okay.
Or very few, right? So you see how it works when you apply it to everybody.
Okay.
There are so many variables in a shooting, in a public shooting, let's say, that you have different rates of success and failure depending on what that individual person's doing or not doing. At Columbine, one of the problems, and I have the actual tape of the Columbine dispatcher, when the teacher, I forgot her name, brave lady, she wrangled a bunch of kids into the library. The kids were running out the door and fleeing, and she says, no, come in here. They go in the library, she closes the door, she makes them get under the desk, and she's on the phone with the dispatcher saying, I hear them in the hallway, we hear gunshots go off, because Klebold and Harris were shooting other people inside the school, and she's in the library thinking she's safe. And this phone call goes on for, 15 minutes, maybe longer. It's pretty long. And then you hear, finally, one point she tells some students to come back, get under the table. And then you hear the bad guys come in the library and shoot all those kids. And I think 15 kids died in there, if I remember. And the reason they died is because they were staying in the library, hiding under the desk because the teacher told her to do that. And the teacher did exactly what she was trained to do. She did. She did nothing wrong based on her training, see, unfortunately. And that door for those kids to escape was, like from here to the lobby, 20 feet. And by the way, they had 15, 20 minutes to get out of there. See?
But would they have, I don't know if I would want to move if I'm hearing gunshots in the hallway. So what should
the gunshots are in the hallway over here, and that back door is where there's no gunshots. You go where the gunshots aren't. You go away from the gunshots, right? But if you were trained to understand that and recognize that, you might have done something differently. But what you were trained to do at the library was get under the desk, or what's the other thing you're trained to do? In a business situation, a school situation, a government situation, what are you trained to do? You don't think you're trained to do it, but you are. In fact, you're trained to do this more than you're trained to do anything else.
Well, I thought I was just hiding.
We're all trained to defer to authority.
Okay, yes, you listen,
You're
especially
trained,
for children.
Yeah, you're trained to listen to what your parents say. You're trained to listen to what the police say, the fire, the government. You're trained. So if the teacher says, I want you to get on the desk.
You get on the desk.
Which is why I trains my kids to say, I don't give a crap what the teacher says. You're not going to do anything the teacher says. You're going to do what I tell you to do, and that's how to. And what I would tell them to do is, you're not going to walk out the door like a fire drill, because that's how they used to train my kids in school for a shooter. They just have another fire drill. Oh, let's line
Yeah, we're all lined up.
Let's all line them up in a row so I can have ducks in a gallery and go pop, 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 pop. And then let's all walk them out to the quad or the lawn, or they're all in one place where I can get them. No. By the way, when a shooting goes off, most people aren't able to assemble people in a fire drill, and people don't evacuate. They all buckle down under their desk. So what are you training kids in a school to evacuate like a fire drill when it's a shooter anyway? It makes no sense. It's just stupid. It's stupidity.
So
because our intellectual institutions think they're all smarter than us, and that's why they don't do that. So I would train my kids, when they're real little, do not take your shoes off when you have a nap. The teacher says I have to. Hey, principal, my kids aren't taking their shoes off. Well, we have to. Nope. Because what if there's an earthquake? Are you going to have them stop and put their shoes on and walk across cut glass? What are we going to do? Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. So then they made the kids put their shoes back on. And by the way, do I want any allegations of impropriety? Well, you touch my kid's feet. What, are you a child molester? What's going on? But if you don't have your shoes off, it's not a question. See, so people don't think this stuff through, right? So, you're trained to respond to authority, and that's one reason these poor kids did that, right? It's sad, but we have to, and I'm not criticizing anybody, by the way, right? We have to think differently. That's what I'm saying.
So my question to you is, so why did we put these little rules in place? Why did we say to kids, where in our mind, or how did we think that it would be safer to go under a table? Was that just like a cop out, and we're just going to do that?
No. I mean, so I went to grade school in the 60s, right? And our biggest fear was the Russians were going to nuke us. That's what we thought was going to happen. And for some reason, getting under a particle board desk was going to protect you from a nuclear blast, okay? What it was actually going to do was to calm everybody down before they died. That's what it was going to do, right? We don't want people running around panicking before they're all nuked. We want them in a nice, quiet place, and if it's not a nuke, we're all okay, but if it is a nuke, then let's go out with some dignity. I mean, really. You can't have everybody running around crazy, because that doesn't help anything. And by the way, in Columbine, one of the problems with the response for the police was that they couldn't get to the school. Because once these things started going off, people started getting phone calls, parents rushed to the school, and they blocked the ability for first responders to get there. They interfered with it. Not on purpose, right? So we have things like fire drills, although if I remember my statistics, again, we don't let facts get in the way here on Security Guard Radio, but in case anybody wants to check it, I don't think there's been an actual death in a school fire in 50 years.
Okay.
Or something like that, right?
Okay.
But we're doing fire drills because, there could be a fire any second. But we have shootings all the time.
Right.
Where's the shooter drills? Hello? Can anybody see? Is this on?
Yeah.
Where are the shooter drills, right?
Where are the shooter drills, yeah.
And it has to be a different sort of drill than what we're doing now. And there's all kinds of great devices. There are locks that can be instantly, with the push of a button, can lock down a whole school. There are barricaded doors. There are things you can do to slow down an intruder, to stop it. There's all kinds of things you can do. This VerVCO thing we're talking about for the gunshot.
Yeah.
Great product, right?
What did you think about the idea? I saw, I can't remember where I saw this, but they were talking about maybe having teachers have weapons.
So I'm a big Second Amendment guy. Why?
I agree.
Because I don't want the government to have all the guns. Because if you look at any model in history, from the Romans to the Mussolini, it's never worked.
Right.
It's never worked. And I'm no conspiracy guy per se, and I'm not paranoid about stuff. It just doesn't work, all right? Because eventually people in power say, we're going to have power. And one reason, and this is my Second Amendment talk, by the way, so bear with me. The reason the Second Amendment bugs the crap out of a lot of people, and I'm not going to say right or left or liberal or conservative, is because if you think about it, more people die from drunk driving. Nobody's up in arms about that because you kill me in a car accident, that's us. You killing 25 different families, that's a bigger deal with a gun, right? But more people die from all kinds of things besides getting shot. Way more people. So that's not the issue. It's not that it creates violence. There's way more violence than other things. Let's talk about domestic violence. Really? You're so concerned about guns, but you're going to let women get beat to a pulp all the time and not do anything about it. A lot of states still don't have the right domestic violence laws. So shame on you for your argument that it's preventing violence. It's not. The reason people don't like guns is because it allows an idiot like me to say, no, I disagree with you. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let you come take my house away that I work for because you think everybody should have a house. So if society ever went upside down and became extreme, like we've seen in these, takeovers, Nazis or Mussolini's or, Argentina, all these crazy governments.
Okay.
That's going to stop it. And there was a very interesting thing that one of the architects of the Japanese invasion said that we can never invade America because there'd be a gun behind every blade of grass. There would be,
Yeah.
right? There's like almost as many guns in the United States as there are people. So that's my Second Amendment thing. All right. But if that's what people are afraid of is the gun issue, then we need to respond appropriately to that. And these drills are not responding to that. The drills are responding to other things we're used to. But since guns are, very politically hot, I think people want to say, like you said, it's not going to happen here.
Okay.
So I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going
Right.
to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And, we've always done it that way is one of the most dangerous phrases
Yeah.
around, So
Going back to the gun thing,
so if I give a teacher a gun, I'm pretty well trained.
Yeah.
And I shoot, I don't shoot as much as I used to, but I'm a pretty good shot, right? And as I get older, I don't want to carry 20 rounds because my pants fall down because I don't have an ass anymore, right? And I'd rather carry something smaller. And then the argument is, what's the weapons platform? It's a smaller gun, more effective than a bigger gun. There's all kinds of things going on that go off my head all day long, and I'm considered a gun expert. I'm not at the top of the expert list. I'm at the bottom, but I'm still in that group, okay? So to say, Eve, I'm going to give you a gun, take you down the range, and you're going to shoot once a year, which I think is what you have to do as an armed guard. They qualify once a year.
Okay.
It's poppycock, boulder dash, magic thinking to believe that the guard that gets trained once a year to shoot his gun is going to be at all effective
Right.
in some kind of shooting situation. Cops miss their targets about 85% of the time. And we're all trained. Why? Because, bang, bang, you're not like, already on the firing line. Now, don't move. I have to shoot you. That's not how it works, right? So
Yeah.
if you think about those things, a teacher has to worry about their kids. A teacher has to worry about other things. Not against it. And by the way, to my argument about personal safety, if every teacher in the United States had a 44 Magnum sitting on their desk, there'd be no shootings in any schools. Guarantee you. Nobody's going to walk into that school and take a chance that they're not going to get shot. Now, we're not there. So since we're not even close to that, what are we going to do? So could you arm every teacher in the United States? Not practically. Would every teacher want to do it? Absolutely not.
Yeah. No.
So I say let's give them something they will agree to do, and want to do, and can do, right?
And what do you think is that?
Well, I mean, I saw this thing on Facebook the other day. Somebody has a product that's a bulletproof blanket, right? And the idea was, and I saw this, how they envisioned deploying it, that, kids are all walking around the school, and here comes the shooter. And then you cut, and all of a sudden, all these kids are laying down in the hallway with a bulletproof blanket on them.
Oh.
Okay. Sounds like a good idea.
Well, then you can't move.
Where
You
do they
just
get the
pull
blanket? No, that's okay if you can't move. If the guy shoots me, it's not going to kill me. Where do you get the blanket
Can't the
from?
guy take the blanket off?
Right. That's I was thinking
Where's the
same
blanket?
thing.
I don't
Okay,
know,
but
inside
where is
their
it?
desks?
I don't know. Is it Linus from Peanuts carrying around, sucking on his thumb with his bulletproof blanket? I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
They're not small. They're not super lightweight. It's made out of.
Oh, so getting this thing out
It's a
would
bull-
be like.
yeah. Where
mean,
does
it
it
does
come
sound-
from?
That
I
would
don't
be-
know.
Yeah, and whether you store them.
Well,
and
I
that
mean,
would be-
if you could have time to train the kids to respond to get it out, yeah, okay. So there's an article that came out last year, which I thought was brilliant. Everybody made fun of them, and everybody criticized, especially our gun advocates, right? But our gun advocates, which I'm for, all right, so don't send me an email that says I'm not Second Amendment, because I am, right? This teacher said, well, I don't have a gun, and I don't have a bulletproof blankie, and all these other things. He bought a can of peas and put a can of peas in every kid's desk. And the idea is you walk in there and start shooting, and 50 kids throw a 1 pound pan of peas at your head. Peas, guess what? You're going down.
All right.
Going down.
Okay.
And if you're not going down, you're not going to be able to shoot crap. You have no target acquisition with 50 cans of peas flying at you.
That's okay. I
so,
like that.
so it's actually brilliant. Now, the next thing that will happen is when some shooter gets hit with cans of peas and sues, they'll outlaw peas. All right? That's how America is, all right?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you know, right?
Yeah.
But there's something that was actually a kind of a brilliant suggestion.
Yes.
One thing they teach you in the police department is to avoid target acquisition. So you ever see the movie The In-Laws? Peter Falk and so you won't get the joke, but there's a joke where Peter Falk's an ex-CIA agent, and his in-law, I forgot who played that part. Alan Arkin and Peter Falk. Right?
Okay.
And they're in some kind of thing that got them mixed up in. And so Peter Falk says, Serpentine, Serpentine. So you see them in the middle of a field, and they're not in anybody's way or cover. They're just serpentining back and forth like this. It looked ridiculous because there's no reason for it. So we're trained to serpentine. We're trained to move. We're trained to get out of the way of target
Right.
acquisition, right? And if I'm moving around, it's hard to hit me. Go down the range one day and put it at 10 yards and try and hit it in the 10 ring every time.
Yeah, it's really hard.
When you got nothing to worry about, right? Not easy to do, right? So if you have those kind of issues in your training and you understand that you have a really high probability of living and not getting hit by a bullet if you're moving in the right direction, the right method of doing something, that's a training everybody could do easily. That's just an intellectual realization that, I'm going to take my chance of you hitting me by picking up this can of peas. Because if I sit here, 99% probability I'm dead.
Yeah.
What's my alternative? Fight, distract, avoid, that kind of thing. So the pea thing, I think, was a great idea. And again, it was highly criticized, but if you think about the analysis,
I think that's actually quite brilliant, and something that I just thought about right now is that when I was younger, I was continuously told that when all these crazy things happen, kids don't listen, kids start running around, and that's how we get in trouble. And right now you're telling me that it's the opposite. And to hear that is really, to recognize that I've been taught incorrectly is very upsetting.
yeah,
Because that means that we're telling all these kids, hey, don't run around.
sit down and behave.
Sit down and behave and don't be bad. And when you're young, you want to be good. You want people to love you and appreciate the fact that you're good. So
So how
sad that
where
is.
a shooter probably would not be successful? On the ice of a hockey game with a bunch of 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
Right. Think about it. These guys, what do? They move all day long. All they do is run
Yeah.
around and shoot pucks and sticks and stuff.
never see that happening.
And they would say, "Get them, boys!" And right. So different group of people that are trained a different way.
different ways, yes.
So it really is about training. It's about. So let's review. Tell me what you learned today. All security is what?
Personal,
And
local.
and
I forgot the other one. What's the other one? Personal,
oh,
local.
she's dead. Oh well, we tried. It's now. It's right now.
It's now. Yes,
It's
yes.
now. Right.
It's now.
Yeah.
So personal, local, and now.
That's it.
Okay.
And I'm going to copyright that.
Yeah.
I got to do that.
You
I
should
don't
do
think
that.
anybody else has said it that way. There's other ways to say it and do it, but really, if you think about it, that's kind of the three components. And
Yeah.
we tried to defeat that theory by plugging it into things that look national, that look global, and it all comes back to what? Personal, local, now.
And local.
Yeah.
Personal, local, now.
Yeah. All right. Another exciting episode comes to close.
Yes.
We didn't even have a show. We did a show about. It's like the Seinfeld show about no show. What was that? Seinfeld joke?
It's the general story.
The show about no show.
No show.
All right. Well, next week, hopefully, we'll get Verdi back here to talk about the gunshot detection. And Miss Eve, thanks for coming in your
Oh,
debut
thank
here.
you.
And plug your show that you go on too. Friends and
Oh yes, I do go. I have gone on Friend or Foe, and they
Friend or Foe on UBN here.
and UBN here as well.
Another good
so
show.
you can catch them on iTunes and everything.
And Mr. Jarvis, thanks for piping in, being my co-host
Yeah, it
with
was
the
fun.
Moses today. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next week, Monday on Security Guy Radio.